Hi, welcome to Her Voice of Truth, a place where Christian women tell their testimonies. This is your host, Tina Babina. Hi, this is Tina, and welcome to episode 3. So we're going to fast forward to November 2020. It was right around Thanksgiving. I remember I was watching a Bollywood movie with my sister-in-law, and I realized that my right leg was feeling slightly numb. I was concerned that it was probably another relapse. I was thinking to myself, it's the holidays, and I do not want to miss out. Also, COVID was still very present during this season, and the ER might be super busy. So I decided to hold it off for the next few days to see if my symptoms were going to progress or decline. And I noticed that it was feeling a little more numb day by day, and I started to get muscle spasms in my right foot and leg, specifically more so at nighttime. I don't know why, but it was every time I laid down. So one of the nights or evenings, I decided to tell my husband, let's go to the ER. And I know that it was a relapse, and I know that it will not get better if it doesn't get treated. So we get to the ER, and I honestly could not recall if they were busy or not, or how long it took me to get a room. But what I remember was I was placed in a shared room. During this time, a lot of the patients' rooms were shared space due to the COVID outbreaks, and the hospitals tried to squeeze in as much patients or as many patients as they can. It was late at night, so I just remember saying goodbye to my husband since guests were not allowed to stay at all. I couldn't see my roommate, however, because there was a curtain between us. However, I could tell that it was an elderly woman who breathes loud, and she would turn up her TV volume every night. It must have helped her sleep at night. I eventually got on IV and steroids to tame the symptoms. And my nighttime, I had nighttime spasms as well. And that kept me up, and I was restless, you guys. Even prior to even getting to the hospital, I was having restless nights because of the muscle spasms. And so, my mind is running at night, and with the muscle spasm keeping me up and waking me up, I almost felt like I was going insane. So one of the nights, I decided to get out of bed, and I did some leg stretches while I held on to the end of the bed frame. Thankfully, that helped tremendously with the spasms, and I was able to get decent sleeps along with asking for earplugs so that I could comfortably finally get some kind of rest, right? My roommate eventually was discharged a day before me, because she did get there before me. So I don't know how many days before me, but I think for me on day 2, her daughter came to get her. And so I was able to say farewell to her. By day 3 for me, then I was being discharged because they needed the room space for more patients. And it just, remember the pandemic. It was crazy in the hospitals. People were just piling in, right? So they told me that I had to finish my last 2 doses of infusion. So that's IV with my prescription, or the steroids. So I had to finish my last 2 doses back here at the hospital. But it was in a different floor and department. By this time, I was slowly, very slowly regaining my strength back in my right leg. I felt good coming home to my family and my bed. That's for sure. I'm sure you guys know how that feels. But the next morning, I was dropped off for infusion for my 4th dose. I remember the nurse could not find a vein to place the IV. And if you guys know me, I have small veins, so I tend to get poked multiple times, especially if this is a new nurse every time. She tried multiple times, and this was very common due to the small veins. And it was morning, so I didn't drink enough water, so, my veins weren't plumped. She ended up calling the head nurse to come in. The head nurse tries 2 times and fails. By the 3rd attempt, she was running out of places to poke me. So she did pick at my left inner wrist. Before poking, though, she placed a warm heat pad on it and started slapping my wrist to find a decent vein. And she's like, please don't report me. And I'm like, I'm not. I understand what you have to do in order to find the vein. And so, and you guys know the inner wrist is a very sensitive spot. And I could feel the needle poke was not fun, but it was a success. So I had to have the IV needle sitting in me for, I want to say probably an hour or so. I was just trying not to move my wrist so that it doesn't hurt. The following day was on repeat, but I think I had a better success finding a vein. Knowing that I was off of steroids and now all bet is on me and God to regain everything I lost, which was strength in my right leg. Mind you, my left leg was already semi-paralyzed in 2019 and at about 90% recovered because there are some permanent damages that took place because it wasn't treated early on, and that was my first health scare. So as I continued to get relapse and be more mindful of my body and understand how my body functions and the symptoms that may come, I become more proactive. So I know when it's time to go to the ER, right? But I was concerned of how my future will look like. So I had a choice to do something about it. I prayed daily, asking God to give me the strength to get through the storm. I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. Every day, I walked up and down the hallway with my cane and did leg exercises and stretches at home. My will was stronger than my feelings, because we know sometimes our feelings can get in the way and tell us, I don't feel like doing it. But at this point, I had no choice but to push forward. During this time, when I went shopping, I had to use an electric cart. I also had to keep myself sane and in a decent mindset. So what cheered me up as we were getting closer to Christmas was to see Christmas lights in the neighborhood or drive around the Twin Cities of Minnesota to chase the lights. My husband was such a trooper, went out of his way just to cheer me up. He has walked with me through this health crisis, and he's my biggest supporter and cheerleader. So I'm so thankful for his love and support and sticking through it with me, and even in our marriage. Along with that, I visited my neurologist, and she wrote this whole petition to my health insurance on my current hospital visit to show evidence that the previous treatment that I had in June and July did not prevent my relapse. I was shy of 1 month from getting my next dose. It would have been every 6 months. However, I had a relapse on month 5. Because of it, my health insurance approved me of this FDA-approved prescription that just came out, which specifically treated this autoimmune condition. Yes, I know. My neurologist is amazing. So she assigned me to an in-house physical therapist and set an appointment for my infusion with a new prescription now. Their clinic just started their in-house infusion center, and at the time, it was a small room that fit 2 recliners. Then one recliner was added in the head nurse's office eventually. But my first visit for the infusion, and guess what happened, guys, when the nurse was trying to find my vein? It took both the nurse and the head nurse literally a whole hour to find a vein. I felt so bad for them. They tried all the tricks and remedies and eventually found one right in my right inner elbow. My infusion there was about 45 minutes long, and I go in every 2 weeks for it. The infusion staff was so sweet and patient with me, as well as I had to be patient with them, because who wants a mad nurse that's still trying to poke them? Not me. In the meantime, I had physical therapy I think it was about between 4 to 6 weeks. Once a week, I was given a printout of the new exercises that we did during each session. My physical therapist was great. I followed the instructions during this time. I was on 12 weeks of short term from work. And trust me, when you go on 12 weeks, it goes by so fast, and you think that people are on vacation or just resting. No. For me, I was at a lot of appointments for different reasons. And I had to make sure that I met all those appointments because I wanted to get better. So I continued to push forward. So by this time, if I'm going to fast forward to March 2021, my 12 weeks is coming up. So the snow was slowly melting on the sunny days in around 40 to 50 degrees. I took advantage of the weather and walked up and down my block as much as I can, just trying to regain all the strength that I lost in the right leg. There was so much physical work to it, but so mental work to help me stay focused and grounded. I was gaining a lot of my strength back, feeling better mentally and physically. God placed visions in me to help me see my future self. I had to work towards that, and it called for a lot of work. You guys, it's not easy. And it was not an overnight miracle. It was a process, and going through this process helped me so much to understand who God is, how good He is, and how much He loved me, and He didn't forsake me through it all. Even though I was brought up in a Christian home, finally in my mid to late 30s, I truly understood God's character and what it meant to have a relationship with Him, an intentional one. I felt His love more than ever. But really His love was always there and available. However, I never really acknowledged it. Honestly, prior to this, I haven't opened the Bible to read it. I didn't know His words. There were many days of self-Bible study, journaling, praying, praising, worshiping, and seeking and finding Him. As I continued this path, God started to reveal His wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the Bible. Things that never made sense to me came to me a little easier. He was taking a layer of the veil off to reveal more of Himself to me. We will pause here for the next episode. In the meantime, if you're listening, I am looking for more women who is willing to do an interview with me about their testimonies. Or if you are shy, you can write me your testimony, and I am happy to be the storyteller of your testimony. You could email me at hervoiceoftruth podcast@gmail.com. So stay tuned for more as we continue my testimony, and I appreciate it. I will see you next time. Bye.